I want to quote a short sentence from Letters to a Young Scientist that captures a lot of that for me. You said, "The great scientist who works for himself in a hidden laboratory does not exist." And this reminds me of a colleague I worked with who always stressed that writing was not something that one did about one's research, but that writing was part of his research. And that whole idea that, you know, why bother? What's the point of doing research if you don't communicate it? You've done an admirable job of that. And then the question is, how do you integrate the writing with the research and you know, manage to get it all done?
I guess it's because I follow a dictum, I think that was once said by Colin McCullough, the writer, Southern writer. She said, "How do I know what I think until I've written it?" So there is a great value in sitting down and writing out what you think you found, or what you think you thought, and putting it in that form, and then your thinking and your planning for further research becomes that much clearer. And of course, I think what you're implying as well is that science is a social phenomenon. I mean, there is no point in conducting research that only you, the results of which only you know. All of us want to communicate what we have found. That is in our genes, to find and communicate what we found.
And that's an important thing in these Letters to the Young Scientist, is that science is not the ivory tower pursuit. Science is a social pursuit. And at one point you implied, too, that not realizing that scientists are motivated by love and fears and ambitions and personal things, trying to deny that is not doing anyone any good, and certainly not going to help your science.
No, it's very important, as I point out to my young colleagues, and I tell you, I've gotten to the age where all of my colleagues are younger colleagues. I'm reminded of something that a great physicist once said, that his theories won out because he lived longer than all his critics. Well, at any rate, at any rate, I have found that the social part of it you have to be very aware of, and it's not just the importance of communicating thoughts, ideas, what you have found, but you need to be aware of the fact that scientists are very human, that they compete, that they have jealousy, that they actually, absolutely, without exception, and will react angrily if they are not followed in this. They must be given proper credit for what they discover, because that is what propels their career and how they make their living and how others think of them, their prestige. That everyone be extremely careful about giving credit to those who make the discoveries, the actual discoveries.
Is that what selects scientists, or do scientists learn to work for the acknowledgement as, you know, the goal rather than the millions of dollars that we're not paid?
I believe so. I think it's correct to say that really productive scientists are motivated by the discoveries and the acceptance of the discoveries and the witnessing of the development of a field, that they are able to influence by their discoveries. You just mentioned, or we just mentioned, the discipline of myrmecology, the scientific study of ants. Well, I have this little quiet dream, it's one of my smaller dreams, that I want to see myrmecology mentioned with the same degree of attention or recognition as ornithology, the study of birds, and herpetology, reptiles, amphibians, and so on. And I think that's what every scientist would like to think they're doing, which is elevating the visibility and the importance of the field that they're contributing to.